Welcome back to Confidently. We are in building block 2, talking about messaging your brand. And this lesson is on how to sell your offer before you build it. Don't we all want to do that? Now, remember, we're in the Confidently Success Map, achieving progress, not perfection, to market and scale your expert-based business. And right now, we're right here, sell your offer before you build it. Now, here's what we're going to cover in today's lesson. First, I'm going to talk about the case for selling your offer before you actually complete it. And this is one of the secrets of the greats. This is how you create cash flow without you stressing about whether or not to sell it and be finished with it. I'm going to go over what an L2 launch is and this is kind of the precursor to the marketing building block, because we're going into that next. And I want to give you some context before we jump into me showing you the marketing tactics to actually implement what I'm teaching you here. I'm going to share the Circle L2 framework with you, and I'm going to show you how it works so you can go all in when we get into that marketing building block. So let me show you this really cool number, 4.28 million. Notice this is the amount of money between January 2015 and August 2020. And this amount of money is the actual screenshot from the Stripe account that we have related to our new beta offers. Meaning in this period, which is a 5-year period, we did almost $4.5 million in sales of programs that we launched before we finished building them. And when I say building it, I mean actually like doing all the PowerPoints and filming and finishing the whole program. So we actually sold this much, and this doesn't include upsells to our bigger group programs and masterminds. So, I pulled this stat when I was pulling together this training for you, because I really actually was like, I want to be able to show you my own authority story that this is true. Now, how many of you would like to do $400,000 in pre-sales? How many of you would want to do $40,000 in pre-sales? How many of you would like to do $4,000 in pre-sales? I'm pretty sure the answer is yes to all of those questions. So this lesson is about showing you how that works. And then I'm going to move into into the marketing building block. So what we're talking about here, and you're going to learn a lot more about the momentum map in the marketing building block. But right now, I'm going to describe this beta launch to you, because this is how you do it. And especially if you are a stage 1 business, or you're a stage 2 or 3 in another type of business, and now you want to create a new revenue stream, all of it is an L2, okay? So what is the benefit of getting really good at pre-selling your program? Well, first of all, I call it the ultimate insurance in launching, because then you get to evaluate new projects, products, or services using the 6-step process I'm about to share with you, that will help you determine whether to invest additional time and resources into implementing it. And I want to talk about one more thing. Why is this in the messaging building block instead of the marketing building block? Again, it's because messaging leads to marketing, and getting this mindset around how you message before you market and sell things is why it's here, because I want you already in that mindset as we move into the marketing building block, okay? It also helps you assess the potential for earning income from your proposed project so that you can gauge whether it's a viable business idea at all. Because if you spend all this money on making a program pretty, but you don't sell it first, you're in a vicious cycle of insanity. And this is where 99% of newer entrepreneurs get stuck. And I'm like, there's a way to fix this. It helps you identify the needs and challenges of your market in relation to what you have to offer, so you can estimate the potential customer demand. It helps you answer essential questions about the possible longevity of your product or service, so you can decide whether your idea will be able to grow over time. And it helps you determine the unique qualities your product or service can provide and evaluate it against what your competitors have to offer, so you can see whether there's an opportunity to carve out your own market or edge out the competition. And I want you to remember this slide because I'm going to talk about it again. I keep repeating things, but because repetition is the mother of mastery, you're going to see when we get to the marketing building block, the monetization building block, how this all comes into play. Okay. Also, why they're so juicy is because, as I said, you test it out to save time and make money. Now, wouldn't it be wonderful to know that the chances of success for a new project, product, or service before you go into it too deeply? Well, of course. Small business owners often create products and services, and then they throw every selling technique conceivable at them. And this is the exact opposite of the approach you should be following when developing new products and services. You want to determine the need first, then build your offer around that need. And it's much easier to sell something when your product or service is in high demand. So you want to launch first to actually develop your product. Now, running an L2 launch, and again, the how to do that is going to be in the next building block, but running it is for anyone who wants a simple process for evaluating a potential project before sinking in money and time. It's for people who want an edge in the market, and you're going to learn how to focus on the opportunities that have the highest chance of succeeding, as well as when to discard ideas. The information provided does not contain complicated math equations, and you won't find theoretical stuff on the time value of money. Instead, you're going to learn useful techniques that you can apply to your launch projects. And I will share those techniques to help you analyze your projects or services and cover the factors to make better decisions about which programs and services to develop further. This is not an exact science, and you're still going to have to make some judgment calls and have discernment, because no tool exists that can tell you with 100% certainty whether a project is going to work or not. But think like this guy, Damon John. If you don't recognize him, he's one of the sharks on Shark Tank. He is the founder of Fubu, which is one of the biggest licensing companies in the world. And he has the attitude of fail fast, and so do I. And he says, I don't fail, I get data. And this is what makes him so successful at what he does and what other successful people do. So ultimately, when you think of launching, think of it as a test. Like all of your messaging is a test. Remember, and repeat after me, this is a test. Everything is a test. Your audience is your laboratory. It will expand and contract as you become smarter and more confident launching. Remember, repeat after me, this is a test. Testing is good. Testing is necessary. Even making money is a test. As I even showed you that 4.28 million of just beta offers in 5 years, that making money stuff was a test. So here's that circle framework that I mentioned to show you how to do a beta. And again, we will handle this in the marketing building block. Right now, I'm giving you context. First, you're going to choose your program, which you did in the last lesson when I talked about the type of offer you're going to create, right? You're going to invite people to play. You're going to run the program with those people, typically 10 people, as you envisioned it running. You're going to collect feedback. You're going to leverage those learnings, and you're going to execute the next step from there. So you're going to make what we call what's now, what's next moves. Okay. And again, don't fear, the marketing building block is coming. So how to choose your program. That's that what's now offer, as I mentioned. You want to make a list of those potential projects that you are thinking, and then choose the one that you feel is the best one to launch based on your use case and your values. Okay. And you need to know how you're delivering it, the timing of it, the content you're going to build, not build before you sell it, but the time. It's typically in your course outline or your program outline or your services outline, and your pricing. And then you're going to measure the performance of it, called KPIs or key performance indicators, and surveying. Don't worry, all of the how to do this is in the next building block. Next piece is we're going to teach you how to invite people to play. So you're going to learn how to recruit your ideal clients, because we're going to go through the marketing insights in the marketing building block, where you're going to really pull down the problem you're solving for the market that you are going after. And then you're going to handpick people that you ask to test your offering. And basically that's going to go through, you know, you're going to ask them personally by calling them, by DMing them, by sending them an email. And if you can't think of specific people to ask, you can send an email to your list or post on social media that you're looking for people. In fact, one of my biggest sell before you offer it or build it things was my program Momentum Pro. I put on my personal Facebook page 4.5 years ago that I was looking for 20 people to work with and that I would teach them how to make $100,000 in their business. Did anybody want to play? And I got hundreds of people who DM'd me. I chose 20 of them, and that $4.28 million that I showed you at the beginning of this presentation, that's literally like the first big beta that I did outside of the Master Brand program. And so, you know, it turned into millions of dollars and continued long-term value of my clients, because, you know, the majority of people who come and work with us for a minimum of 3 years, because I tell them, you know, it takes about 3 years to move through the stages and start hitting that big momentum tipping point. And that's why you're hearing confidently, I assume, because you're looking for that tipping point, and it's going to happen as you get good at doing L2s. And then finally, you're going to learn how to message the big question that clients have or potential clients have, which is what's in it for me? And then making it clear on how to apply and play and be accepted into your services and what that selection system is. The next is running the program as envisioned. So you want to model the process, which is basically testing your use cases as you'd want it to ideally work. So you want to be clear with the people playing that the program is going to be fully experienced, but there may be ideas you're testing for optimal results. And I want you to run it like they've paid full price for the program. No excuses around that. Because even if you find out that you hate the process, that was the point, is finding out, okay, for the next time I do this thing, I'm not going to run it this way. Because you don't want to let people down when they come in. That's why in the last lesson, I mentioned don't ever commit to anything more than 90 days so that you can have the out to change things to work better, okay? And so you want to make sure that you've set up a brand ecosystem. And again, all of this is going to come in the next 2 building blocks: how to market, how to sell, the content you're going to build to support it, the customer service you're going to do, even if you're, you know, your daughter is handling customer service for you. Like, you need to, once you start selling things, people may have questions. You have to build in some of these systems inside of even your solopreneur business, if that's the case. Okay. And what are the technical pieces, et cetera. Again, we will cover the how in the next building block, but this is what you'll need to run it full on. Then you want to collect feedback. You want to observe what's happening in each consulting session, or in whether or not people are finishing the lessons in your course, or, you know, whether or not the community is engaged. Okay. And after each section of your use case process, take copious notes on what's happening and try to be as objective as possible around it instead of emotional or fragile around it. Because you want to really, really understand what's working and what's not working for both sides. And then notate alongside each section to assure that you don't miss opportunities to simplify, modify, uplevel, or remove. And don't be attached to outcomes that don't happen. Instead, celebrate that you have the data to make a better business decision like a boss. And now after it completes, survey and gather testimonials of the players. You want this, we're going to show you how to get good testimonials so that you can have good authority stories to use in your next bigger launch, okay? And you want to get specific about that brand experience with the content, the delivery, the support, and the pricing so that you can use those data points to crush it next time. And the key question that you would ask them is, would you pay full price for this program with the way that it was done? Okay, because you want to find out if your pricing is on track too. So step 5 is leverage those learnings, right? Consolidate all that juicy data and combine the observations during and after into one summary document, okay? Make sure the keyword is here that you must document this journey, not just observation by what you feel, okay? Use those findings as the baseline for all future product enhancements and launches, and take the testimonials and move them into your website and prepare for other launches. Make sure you build in time for adjustments to your final product and decide to keep, enhance, or kill certain things that worked and didn't work. And then update your strategy. So if you are keeping or enhancing, move to step 6. If you are killing anything, you want to go back to your offer itself and ask yourself if you need to change it. Then finally, it's your what's next move, which is executing the next step. And that's to update that product, update the launch considerations, and look at the entire brand ecosystem and make updates to the people, process, and technology required to execute it in a bigger way next time. And then we'll get ready to launch it in a bigger way, which again, we'll do all of that in the marketing building block. So that's the context around the circle framework and why you need to learn how to message before you market and sell, okay? So let's think about this. If you wanna make $10,000 and I ask you to do your goals up front, either you gotta make 10 offers at 10,000, 5 offers at 2,000, 1 offer at 10,000, 100 offers at $100, 200 offers at $50, X offers at Y dollars, whatever it is, stay laser focused and let's focus on that and get the data we need and even make some money at the same time in order to crush it. Now, remember, in the marketing building block, we're going to take your use cases, your tests, your what's now offer, and we're going to run this launch as I've described it. So first, I want you to decide the number of L2s you'll commit to sell. So how many units? And then journal what's coming up for you as you see the opportunity for an L2 launch. So use that worksheet to commit to the offer you make. Post your insights and your commitments in our online forum. Check this lesson off on your Confidently Success Map and do the next lesson within 48 hours of completing this one to stay in momentum.